All right. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be in time and space. Kinneas here, back for... Well, let me start out this way. After being pecked by a radioactive bird, somewhat mannered T. Tuthill was possessed to become Kinneas, the Sky Dude. These are the flight sim adventures of Kinneas, the Sky Dude, number 155, where we find ourselves continuing the world tour, and we're in Western France. How's that? Okay. So, if you haven't live streamed for a few days, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking jumping right back into it. I have had, and I'm having a dickens of a time staying compliant with what YouTube wants, and I'm having to pretty much download and edit every single live stream I've done. This is episode 155. So this weekend I made it to about 148, 149 as far as downloading them and then re-uploading them. And then I have to do an edited version, but it behooves me to do an edited version. So anyway, I've been working on that and haven't been streaming for a while because of that. So let me switch back over here. So this is the plan for today. Hope all goes well. We are down here. And we are at this airport here. Over here. That's better. So then we're going to be taking off, and we're going to be heading pretty much straight for the coast. Past this place called Talmont. There is a bay over here. That's on Bushtalk. Then we're going to be just kind of cruising straight up here past these towns here. Chateau de Olonne. I'm going to butcher these names badly today. The Sables de Olonne. Olonne-sur-Mer. We're going to be passing a lot of little places. Like that one. And that one. And that's not so small. This is kind of a big place here. Alright, now this is an important spot, I guess, where they got to control all the traffic coming through. Now, you can imagine the ancient times. You were traveling around, you didn't want to get too far away from the coast for ocean, blah, 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 and you made it down here. You'd have to go, even then, you'd have to try to go all the way around to try to avoid them. Nah, anyway, they got a nice choke point right here. We're going to be finding out about that. From the choke point, cutting back over to stay relatively close to land ourselves. Up through here, through another choke point area. Might have to use some speeding up of the simulator today to get us places. Up here, over there. There's supposed to be some nice ancient stuff over here. Like the stones of Karnak or something like that. So this should be like ancient alien stuff or old ancient stuff here, which is going to be neat. Then we're going to make our way up towards Renne. I think that's what it's called. Not certain. Then from there, up north, going to stop by Mont St. Michele, which is the cover art today. That humongous castle. Fantastic. I can't wait to see it. Then we cut back over here to check this port out. Go up and check out this tiny little island right here. This little chain of something. Then we make it back over to... It keeps cutting out on me. Is your battery dying? Alright, back over here. And our destination airport is this little tiny island way out here called St. Anne. Or Alderney. Now again, I might have to speed up the simulator during some of these cruises because this is a lot of distance. So I'm probably being way more ambitious than I should for getting all these places today, but let's just get to it then. Already got our job set up in Neofly.
Hello, pilot. Let's see what's on the books for you today. Greetings from the tower. We have a number of passengers that need assistance to board. Please confirm you are ready to receive them. Captain, we have opened the gates for boarding. The passengers are on their way.
Hey, we don't want any rain today. This is going to be a sightseeing tour. And hello to ALEC Gebelin in the chat room. I've just subscribed to you. Hello to Burger LOL Henning. How are you? Good to see you. Hope you had a good weekend. All right, let me get this set for clear skies. We get to watch the water evaporate off the runway in front of us.
Looks like everyone is on board, pilot. Let's get out of here.
Okay.
You're good to go. Contact the tower for clearance.
Everything's in the computer, and we're ready to go. All we need to do is get out of here. Everything's in the autopilot and set up. You know, it would help if I had my joystick over here. Yeah. Hey, you're welcome, Alec. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. And you make it so much easier on me when you say hi in the chat room, and I can immediately click on your name. So Henning has got some important news in the chat room that we're going to get to in just a moment here once we get off the ground and get going.
We hope you enjoyed your stay here. We'll look forward to welcoming you back soon.
Well, thank you very much. So as I was saying, Henning is in the chat room. You'll recognize him under the name Burger LOL. And he says he has got some exciting information, and I can't wait to look at it once I get us stable here. Oh, I'm completely going the wrong direction. Hey, nice moon out. Do. Oh, yeah. Okay. Slow down a little bit. Give me just a minute, gentlemen. Get this beast under control. Get the autopilot engaged. Let me get some altitude on us. Set to flight level change. Get nav on. Set to nav. Okay, and let me check. Now, let me turn this off for a second and check and see if Bushtalk. Let me get my auto scene switcher on and.
The Chateau de Talmont was founded by the Count of Poitou in the 10th century, and the first documentary records appear between 1040 and 1046. In 1138 the castle was held by Jocelyn de Lacy, who was attacked by Louis VII, despite being considered invulnerable because it could be resupplied from the sea. The castle was burnt by the king. Talmont passed on to the Morlians by the 1140s, but in 1182 Richard I of England became the Lord of Talmont. He remained in control of the castle until his death in 1199, when it was returned to the Morleone family.
You all right? So I'm not sure what's going on with the autopilot at the moment. Look at this route that we've traced here. See if I can get on that screen. Oh no, I've got a different screen set. It's like we're making a heart shape. trying to see if it's going to figure itself out here. Anyway, yeah, that's where we are spinning around in a circle there. Oh, come on, you. I want to get to the chat. Okay. It seems like we're doing all right now. Okay, in the chat. Before I actually, okay, so so much to do at once. So in the chat, Henning says that put some distance between us and them so we can actually be heard. I finally achieved my first goal of the year, 30 minutes in the air. You've also got a video about that if you're interested. You've also got a video up about that if you're interested. How does that app work? Okay, I think you mean Bushtalk Audio. It's an app, and you load it in here, right? So I've already loaded it in here, and then you connect to the website, Bushtalk Radio, right? And then it tracks your location. Here we are at Talmont. We're making our way out to this this bay over here, Port Bourgeonnais. And there's no audio. If you want to make your own audio, this is a neat feature of it, you can click on this plus down here. Like, let's say I knew everything about Port Bourgeonnais, or I'm a fan of it, but nobody's put a marker there yet. I can click that and I can create a marker. Right? And you can add all this wiki information and it'll add one of those audio tours to it. It's very neat. Okay, so we're going to be coming down here to follow the coast. And our next nearest point of interest on the on Bushtalk is this point here. The Battle of La Sabre Olonne. And we're going to find out about that in just a minute. I hope that answers your question. It's pretty cool. I like it very much. I love getting all this history. So let me get my camera position back behind my plane again, and then I want to go over to the BURGERRLOL Channel. Henning, could you please help me out and post the URL to your channel in my chat room to make it easier for everybody to get right to it? It is pretty cool, Alec. I really like it. Do you do any flying yourself, Alec? If Henning didn't hear me, I'll go ahead and try to pull up his page. Alec's page is... Alec, would I have per... Well, you... Okay, I'm checking at your site. Vitamin Delicious Cheeky Boys and Mr. Bitcoin. Okay. Let me try to get to Henny's site. Let me go back to YouTube, my subscriptions. There it is, Burger LOL. All right, the link to Burger LOL's channel is in the chat room. Okay. And this town here below us is back over here. The Chateau de Olonne. And it looks like we're a little bit off course. Let me pause right here for a moment and turn the camera over here, this bay. All right. Now this is the, there's the plane over here, and we're looking out here, and here we go.
The Battle of Les Sables d'Olonne was a minor naval battle fought on the 23rd of February 1809 off the town of Les Sables d'Olonne on the Biscay coast of France between a French Navy squadron of 3 frigates and a larger British squadron of ships of the line. The French squadron had sailed from the port of Lorient on the 23rd of February in an effort to link up with a fleet from Brest under Jean-Baptiste Willemes, but missed the rendezvous and was pursued by a British blockade squadron under Rear Admiral Robert Stopford. The French commander, Commodore Pierre Roch-Jurien, anchored his squadron under the batteries which protected the town of Les Sables d'Olonne in the hope of dissuading an attack. Ignoring the batteries, Stopford ordered his squadron to attack at 9 o'clock on the 24th of February, HMS Defiance leading the line. Shortly after the main batteries of Stopford's ships of the line came into the battle, the French ships were overwhelmed one by one, and shortly after noon all 3 had been driven ashore with heavy casualties. British histories recount that all 3 were destroyed, although French histories report that they were salvaged but found to be damaged beyond repair. The fleet under Willemes was trapped in the anchorage at Basque Roads on the 26th of February and defeated at the Battle of Basque Roads in April with heavy losses.
Okay. Get back behind the plane and get it going again, and then I'm going to go to the Burger LOL channel, and we're going to find out what he is talking about. Okay. So let me get another channel open here. Okay. I need to get another page open over here. All right, you should be seeing the Burger LOL page. And that's the video you're talking about. Look at this beautiful view on my 45-minute flight. Oh. Can't do that with the scene switcher on. It's always something. One moment. All right, let me turn off the automatic scene switcher. Stop. Every time I click something, it takes it away from the screen. So I've got to disable that thing. Okay. Can we get it all centered? To one or the other, man. Tough getting it just right with these shorts. The format for these shorts. Yeah. I know it's strange. I can't play the audio in your clip because I'm live. And they have these special rules about no audio while being live. So every time I've been playing audio during a live stream, pretty much all 150 episodes are in copyright violation or in rule, not copyright. It's policy violation at the moment. There are no laws governing playing music during live performances. They consider this a live performance. Why, I don't know. But everything is policy. There's the airport down there. That is a beautiful view. And plenty of clouds. And how was the, yeah, beautiful. How was the lift? Let me... Turn down Microsoft Flight Simulator. Forward. How was the lift you were getting that day? I mean, if you were up for 45 minutes, I mean, look at those clouds. Really, really nice clouds. Look at those light rays coming through those clouds. Beautiful. Beautiful. And, again, there's the airport down there. But it seems like the air would have been ideal. I love it when you can see the light rays clearly shooting through the clouds like that. That's so far out. You go ahead and share this over onto social media. All right. Far out. Far out, man. Lift. Holy moly, I was happy I could take this video with all the lift in the air. I had 3 meters per second thermals that got me up to 1,400 meters. Fantastic. Let me turn back on my scene switcher and we'll find out where we're at. All right. So we passed the battle and we're heading up north here. Ah, there we are. So we've passed La Touche, Rem-sur-Mer, Retinol-sur-Mer, and now we're right over some field here. Heading up to Saint Gilles. I don't know how they pronounce it. Saint Gilles Raw DV. So if we take a look out front here, yep. There is Saint Hilaire de Rise beyond that, and the Saint Gilles Tredion right in front of us here. Alec, thank you for stopping in. I really appreciate it. Thanks for chatting with us, checking out some video today. I'll try to be on every day this week, if at all possible. Nice subscribing to you. I look forward to any content that you produce. Hey, anytime you want to show what you're doing, and I'm not aware of what you've done, I missed something, always don't hesitate to hop into the chat again and let us know what you've done so we can go check out your videos and post those to social media if you'd like. You don't have to. It's up to you. Have a great day. Thanks for stopping in, checking out the adventures of Kinneas the Sky Dude. Really getting into the role today. Man, editing my live streams has been a trip. Because now I'm trying to create an edited version for each live stream. Some of these live streams are 2, 3, sometimes 4 hours long. And I'm trying to edit every live stream down to at least 30 minutes. I haven't been successful. 36 minutes, 36 minutes. The latest one I got down to like 26 minutes. Aggressive cutting. The nice thing about taking the live stream down, downloading it, and making an edited version, one, I do get to chop out a lot of unnecessary stuff, but not necessarily chopping it out, just speeding up time, speeding up video. So when we do these long stretches, like from here to our destination, into the next point, the next Bushtalk audio point, I'll speed things up dramatically. You know, I get to add music into those. So when I re-upload the live streams as videos, now all the music is legal and okay. That doesn't make any sense, but in their world it does. So it doesn't matter to me. All I want to do is make sure that I'm completely compliant with what YouTube wants. So here's the deal. Again, if I download every single live stream and re-upload them, every episode of Sky Dude, every bit of music in the re-uploads is now legal. Then I can make these edits, and I can add more music, and I can add graphics, and I can add more information like city names and, you know, whatever. I can have a lot more fun with them. I have been having a lot of fun doing the edits. So I've probably got 4 or 5 edited versions up now in the playlist folder for Sky Dude, and it makes them a different thing altogether. They become little tiny productions unto themselves, which are pretty nice. In the unedited versions, I'm getting a chance now to go back and do proper chapters on everything. I'm making sure that I get chapters on everything. So you'll be able to find things like when I'm showing your channel. I'm trying to chapterize everything so I can say, hey, in episode 150, Penny Burger LOL stopped into the chat room at 2 hours and 22 minutes, and we talked about his channel, and from 222 to 402, I'm looking at the BURGERRLOL channel, and so I'm able to, anyway, create chapters that are going to help you and others find anything that you might find interesting. This Saturday, BURGERRLOL will complete another milestone. He's still a student, so if he completes a block of exercises, he'll have to do an exam where he has to perform everything he learned. And I've completed one of those blocks yesterday. In the United States, I believe they call them check rides. Another thing I haven't, nobody's complained about the stream dropping frames or anything, but this, I forgot to go pull up my stats and at least make sure that there aren't any problems with the live stream at the moment. I don't see any frames missed due to lag or anything like that. All right, that looks good. Yeah, they're called check rides here, and absolutely, they want to test your proficiency. I know you're going to do well. You're exceptional, And I know you're going to do incredibly well. I can't not see you doing well. So in the edited version of this live stream, I'm probably going to just speed a lot of this up and find some really cool music to play during the cruises. And I've told myself through the editing process, I've got to be a lot less herky-jerky on the controls. Because normally I'm just turning the camera around here and left. I'm like, hey, look at this over here, and look at this over here, and look at this over here, and, you know, moving the camera too dang much. So when I speed up time in the live stream, when I speed up time in the videos, in the edits, it's just too much camera movement when you're going that fast. So I'm going to try to really cut back. I'll bet. Yeah, you had to wait for the perfect weather so that you could fly that 45-minute. 6 weeks. 6 weeks in waiting for the perfect weather to fly. That's the life of a pilot for you, and a glider pilot for you. It's also... yeah, it's the dedication. Okay, it looks like we're coming up on that choke point I talked about earlier. And we should have an audio, a Bushtalk audio for it. And we are here. Let me get a little bit closer. And then I'll pause and engage the audio. You've messed some things up already? I don't believe it. You don't make mistakes. Come on. You're lying. You're just trying to seem like an average person. Okay, we're at Fromentine. And we'll pause right here over this bridge. Well, we'll pause here. And come out a little bit. And now Passage du Gois.
The Passage de Gois or Goa is a natural, periodically flooded passage leading to the island of Noirmoutier in France. It is located between Ile de Noirmoutier and Beauvoir-sur-Mer, in the department of Vendée. It is flooded twice a day by the high tide. The track is 4.125 kilometers long. Every year, a foot race, the Folies du Gois, is held across it, starting at the onset of the high tide. The Passage du Gois was used in Stage 2 of the 1999 Tour de France bicycle race. It proved to be decisive due to a crash caused by the slippery surface. The crash created a 6-minute split in the peloton which ended the hopes of many favorites to win the race, including Alex Suller, who would eventually finish second overall. The Passage du Gois was used again in the 2011 race, as the starting point of the first stage.
Okay, and I know that there are some points out here. I'm not going to travel... I don't know, actually, my GPS might have us traveling, but we might be cutting it. But either way, there's a couple of points out in front of us I also wanted to play. Right? Yeah, here's one here.
Noirmoutier is a tidal island off the Atlantic coast of France in the Vendée department. Noirmoutier was the location of an early Viking raid in 799, when raiders attacked the monastery of Saint Philibert of Jumiges in 799. The Vikings established a permanent base on the island around 824, from which they could control southeast Brittany by the 840s. In 848, they sacked Bordeaux. From 862
wow, they went far.
to 882, Haystein used it as a base from which he raided Francia and Brittany. Saint Mary Euphrasia Peltier was born on this island on July 31, 1796.
Okay, so now we know about the island. Let's move that out of the way. And the next point on this island is a little bit out of, just beyond our view.
The Chateau de Noirmoutier is a castle on the Ile de Noirmoutier in the Vendée département of France. It dominates the town of Noirmoutier-en-Lille with its almost 20-meter-high keep. The castle is very well preserved and a fine example of 12th century medieval architecture.
Yeah,
the
we're
first
turning.
traces of the castle appeared in 830 with the construction of a castrum by the abbot Hilbold, from the monastery of Saint Philbert. It served to defend the monks and the island's population from the Vikings. The castle was rebuilt in stone in the 12th century by the feudal power who was trying to stabilize the region, notably by preventing Norman pillaging. The island at that time was under the control of the barons of La Garnaque. The keep was built by Pierre IV of La Garnaque, then an enclosure equipped with towers was built around the lower courtyard. In the 16th century, the castle was held by the La Tromouille family, then Viscounts of Troyes. In 1674, it was taken by the Dutch troops of Admiral Tromp. The castle was sold
Admiral
in 1720 to Louis IV Henri de Bourbon-Condé, who resold it in 1767 to Louis XV. During the French Revolution, the castle served as a military prison. During the 19th century, the castle was used as a barracks. In 1871, during the Paris Commune, insurgents were imprisoned there. In 1960, a house was built within the castle grounds by the governor of the island and the castle. Today, the keep houses the Noirmoutier Museum.
Oh, I'm not going to relay that on the, I'm not going to relay that. And I was teasing you, about being a Superman. And, oh man, I feel you. You know, it's, if I do it for real, I'm, you know, probably going to end up making probably horrible mistakes. I don't trust myself at all anymore. After all the simulation time, I'm more afraid of my own inabilities and the mistakes I make. And I think I've already I've learned too many I've learned too many things wrong at this point. I'll probably just be a detriment to myself, but I understand, and I that's nothing. All right, so the other place, or on that arm, was this.
Noirmoutier-en-Lille, commonly referred to as Noirmoutier, is a commune located in the northern part of the island of Noirmoutier, just off the coast of the Vendée department in the Pays de la Loire region in western France. The history of the town began with the arrival of the monk Saint Philibert in 674, who founded a monastery. The Chateau de Noirmoutier dates from the 11th and 12th century. In summer, the area is a tourist resort. Noirmoutier-en-Lille is situated to the north of the island of Noirmoutier, in the Atlantic Ocean. The commune covers the northern point of the island, and contains 3 villages, Noirmoutier, Le Herbordier and Le Vier. Le Herbordier is a noteworthy port and is managed by the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of the Vendée. The inconvenient location in relation to the town and economic success of the village encouraged its inhabitants to seek the establishment of a commune independent from Noirmoutier-en-Lille. Le Vier is also located on the north coast within the commune. It is a popular destination for vacationers over the summer. An inventor, Brutus de Villeroy, tested the first French submarine in the village on the 12th of August 1832. An old street bears his name.
Trying to find a drink emoji in the chat room. There we go. All right, let's find out where we're at. We are here. Next town up ahead. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Bourgneuf. Every time I try to pronounce something, she ends up pronouncing them different. Le Mortour in Retz. Le Bernier in Retz. I don't know what in Retz means. And I think we're going to be heading north. I think we're going to be cutting off some of this stuff along here and kind of heading straight north up to... no, we're going to this point here. These giant ports. Good, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. Man, I sympathize. There's in rights behind us, Bourgneuf. Bourgneuf. I can't tell if that's swampland or somebody's amazing golf course down there. So what do you have planned for this week now? And let me get through France and let me get through some other edits, and then I'll try to get back into some DCS world as we go forward. I need to at least keep doing these, try to do these shows every day at this time, and then as soon as I'm done with this, I got to get back to the editing. So I figured I'll just keep the shows pretty straightforward from here for this week, just continuing these routes up into the UK, I think. We'll do the English channel, and I'll eventually make my way back over to Germany. Yeah, I was going to say, we should be making a turn here and cutting all this and heading north. Yep, and here's our turn. So yeah, I'm eager to find out what your schedule looks like this next, I guess, week, 2 weeks. What's your outlook? What's going on? Time is it? 45 minutes after the hour. I'm going back, and now that I'm doing these edits and I'm downloading the live streams and re-uploading them and putting chapters on them, I'm also going in and readjusting all where they place all the ads. I really don't like the way YouTube places the ads, and I could place them during the show, but I don't keep a regular timer, and and I forget and I get talking. So I have to let YouTube initially put down where the ad placement is. But once I go back and download the live streams and re-upload them, I can change all where the ads are. And in the edit versions that I'm doing, I can definitely change where the ads are. And I'm trying to get everything nice. And I'm cutting out about half of the ads that they put in. It's just too many. Even at 18 minutes sometimes. I'm trying to do them like every 30 minutes. I know that may probably cutting too much for replays, but sometimes they just seem excessive. And I'll just be happy with... I would like to do one every, like radio. 15 minutes after the hour, top of the hour, 15 minutes after the hour, bottom of the hour, 45 minutes, and back to the top. But one of these days I'll get it all worked out. So this isn't the place where Mont St. Michel is, but it's Saint Michele CHEF below us here at 1.61. All right, so you've got a lot of schoolwork coming up and a lot of things that are going to be occupying your time. So it's all going to work out. But in like 3 weeks or so, you'll be free. That's going to work out. I'm going to need several weeks to keep doing these downloads and live streams. So I'm going to keep the shows pretty straightforward through this period. Coming up soon, hopefully soon, and they don't push it back again, Microsoft will be releasing Update 15. I can't wait. I can't wait to see Update 15. That is in the beta version of it. And I'm afraid to do the beta version of it and then do a live stream and find myself in another world of trouble. So I'm avoiding getting the beta versions of anything if I'm live streaming. But anyway, the point is everybody says they love the way it's running. They love the way it's running, and that's not even going to be as good as 2024 will run because they can't rewrite everything just for this update. But they said Update 15 is going to give you a real look inside how memory management can be done. And they said it's already making the 2024 version just amazing. So I can't wait to see it myself, and I can't wait to see how good 2024 is going to be. Well, that's the biggest thing. There's going to be a lot, and I can't right off the top of my head remember any of the other major things. That is the major thing about Update 15 is the memory management and it running like glass. And hopefully everybody's able to increase their resolution. Okay, we're coming up on an important point here. Here we are, passing L'Hermitage, La Rochette, something like that. Saint Brevin, the Ocean, Saint Brevin Les Pins. Yeah, I'm butchering all these. I'm just going with it. But we got this cool bridge coming up right here. So are we turning towards it? Good, we are. And We're just about over it. That is impressive. And the audio should kick in here any second.
The Saint Nazaire Bridge is a cable-stayed bridge spanning the Loire River and linking Saint Nazaire on the north bank and Saint-Brevin-les-Pins on the south bank, in the department of Loire-Atlantique, Pays de la Loire, France. The bridge is crossed by the Route Bleue. The cable-stayed metallic structure measures 720 meters and, including the access viaducts, represents a total length of 3.3 kilometers. The bridge was commissioned on October 18, 1975, after 3 years of construction. Including its 404 meters central span, the 720 meters metal structure held, at its construction, the world record length for a cable-stayed metallic bridge. The building was returned to the department's General Council Road Heritage Organization, which has been responsible for its management and maintenance since August 1, 1995. It has improved trading between the north and the south shores of the estuary considerably. In 1975, the bridge was the longest one ever built in France. Moreover, it held the world record for the longest cable-stayed bridge for 8 years.
There we go. Trying to figure out how to reset my camera so I could get down there. So I kind of wasted all that time mucking about. But yeah, that's a very, very, very impressive bridge there. Quite the span. Wow. All right, I know that we have some more spots out here. So right over here, right next to it, this port area. And in the simulator, that's right there. All right, so we're right on the area there. Let me go ahead and click in here.
Chantiers de l'Atlantique is a shipyard in Saint Nazaire, France. It is one of the world's largest shipyards, constructing a wide range of commercial, naval, and passenger ships.
One of the world's largest.
Near Nantes, at the mouth of the Loire River and the deep waters of the Atlantic, which make the sailing of large ships in and out of the shipyards easy. Chantiers de l'Atlantique was formed in 1955 by the merge of Ateliers et Chantiers de la Loire and Ateliers et Chantiers de Penhoë. The shipyard's first ships were built for the French transatlantic line Compagnie Générale Transatlantique. In 1961, it built the transatlantic ocean liner SS France, the world's longest passenger vessel at the time. After the construction of the last Compagnie Générale Transatlantique liner and the closure of the Suez Canal, the yard began building large tankers. A new dry dock was built for this purpose and allowed the construction of tankers exceeding 1 million tons, but it remained mainly unused except for the construction in 1975 to 1976 of the sister ships MV Gostor and Nestor, and then again idle until construction of liner RMS Queen Mary II. Between 1985 and 1998, the shipyard built several cruise ships for Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. In 1987, the first of these ships, Sovereign of the Seas, was delivered, and was the first mega cruise ship in the world. In 2003, the shipyard also delivered an RMS Queen Mary II to Cunard Line. During the construction of RMS Queen Mary II, a gangway to the dry docked ship collapsed, killing 16 people. In September 2017, after difficult negotiations and a brief nationalization of the shipyard by the French government, the involved parties reached an agreement, with Fincantieri acquiring a 50% stake in STX France, and the remainder being held by the French Naval Group and the French government. A month later, it was announced that the Saint Nazaire shipyard would regain its original name, Chantiers de l'Atlantique.
Very nice. All right, let's check the area for anything else here. We have one right up ahead here. Airbus Saint Nazaire. Airbus
Saint
production.
Nazaire has been the cradle of the aeronautical industry since 1923, at first seaplanes and propeller aircrafts, today modern Airbus planes. The Saint Nazaire production site is one of 13 Airbus assembly sites. It builds the rear and forward fuselage of all the Airbus, except for the Airbus A220. It then delivers them to the final assembly line of Toulouse, Hamburg, Tianjin in China and Mobile in the USA. It can be delivered by the freight aircraft Pleguer or by boat. The Saint Nazaire site hires 200-300 people.
So one of these large facilities right down here. Okay, so it looks like this is the facility in here. For Airbus. $57 after the hour. Oh, I'm always slow on the draw, missing the chat. And Henning is left for the afternoon. He's got stuff to do. And all we want to do is say good luck. We've got our fingers crossed for you. And ultimately, whenever you're around planes, God bless. Right? Say a prayer for anybody who mucks around with planes. Or anybody who does anything that's potentially freaking life-threatening. Okay. I think we're turning around. We're going to come down here for a little bit. What was this out here? So out in front of us somewhere, in this body of water, just that way a tiny bit, there is this thing. The sinking of the RMS Lancastria.
The sinking of RMS Lancastria ranks as Britain's worst but probably least known maritime disaster. The steam passenger liner, built by Cunard, was launched in 1922 to transport passengers across the Atlantic. When war broke out, she was requisitioned and sent to pick up British personnel stranded in Europe just after the evacuation from Dunkirk in June 1940. Carrying 7,500 passengers, the ship was bombed by the Germans near the port of Saint Nazaire. The Lancastria sank in under 20 minutes, and those who jumped into the water had to swim through miles of oil slick while still avoiding attack by machine guns from the air. About 4,000 men, women and children lost their lives. The scale of the disaster was so great that Winston Churchill ordered a complete news blackout so as not to destroy wartime morale, and it was nearly 6 weeks before the tragedy was reported by the press.
Governments, man. Whether you like him or not, Winston Churchill or not, just when you hear things like that, it's like, man, I don't like when they suppress anything. And, for better or for worse. I don't dig it, All right, so there we are now, nearing Corniche. That's out in front of us. Plane. How do we get so far away from our plane? Okay. Okay, so Corniche. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. As always, folks. Every place that we've pretty much seen, we haven't said, man, this place sucks. I mean, some places are really rough, but at the same time, there's so much beauty in the roughness. It looks like we might be in cruise now for a bit. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't see any points of interest. And our route should keep us over land mostly, so we should be making a turn here. That's interesting. Very beautiful, sir. General, madam. Wow. And it goes on. Okay, here's our turn. All right, 1 hour's passed. Okay, I said I might need to speed things up. So I am going to... It should be 4 times normal speed. Plane doesn't like it too much. Oh, it does not. Go back to 2 time. Back 4. Like we're making another turn up this way. Probably over to see these things. Or we'll get awful close to it. Plane does not like it at all. My gosh, that's gonna look silly in the live stream, in the edit. All right, normal speed. Now here we're just passing this.
The Chateau de Ceccinio or de Suzanio is a Breton castle built to be the residence of the Dukes of Brittany. The spectacular site comprises the moated castle, a ruined chapel, a duck
where is that
and a few ruined outbuildings. Designed to be a place of leisure, between the seaside and a forest full of game for hunting, the castle's first seigneurial house dates from the beginning of the 13th century, with the site fortified and enlarged at the end of the 14th century. After housing Henry Tudor and the exiled Lancastrians during the Wars of the Roses, the castle was slowly abandoned by the nobility and fell into ruin, being used as a stone quarry before and after the French Revolution. After 1965, major restoration work began, and Ceccinio Castle again regained its allure of an intact medieval fortress.
So I don't think I was on it. That's a drag. I don't see it. Now it's behind us. Okay, so we passed over Sarzeau. Directly to our right, this body of water here.
The Gulf of Morbihan is a natural harbour on the coast of the department of Morbihan in southern Brittany, France. Its English name is taken from the French version, Le Golfe du Morbihan, though it would be more precisely called the Morbihan, as its Breton name Morbihan means the Little Sea, as opposed to the Atlantic Ocean outside. Legend says that there are as many islands in the Gulf as there are days of the year. In fact, the Gulf has about 40, depending on the tides. Many islands are private property, except the largest two, Ile aux Moines and Ile d'Ars. The area around the Gulf features an extraordinary range of megalithic monuments. There are passage dolmens, stepped pyramids with underground dolmen chambers, stone circles, and giant menhirs, among others. The site best known to outsiders is Carnock, where remains of a dozen rows of huge standing stones run for over 10 kilometers. The passage grave of Gavrinis, on a small island in the Gulf, is one of the most important such sites in Europe. Some of the ruins have been dated to at least 3300 BC, 200 years older than England's Stonehenge.
Now, I didn't want to miss these stones, right? So we're going to have to come down way low, but they're up ahead, and I don't know if we're going to be able to see them or not. I'm going to sure give it a shot. We need to get into the cockpit here and turn off the autopilot. and put it into heading mode. And we just want to go about that. And turn back on the autopilot. Put it in heading mode. All right.
The Locmariaquer Megaliths are a complex of Neolithic constructions in Locmariaquer, Brittany. They comprise the elaborate tumulus passage grave, a dolmen known as the Table des Marchands, and the broken menhir of Urgra, the largest known single block of stone to have been transported and erected by Neolithic people. The broken menhir, erected around 4700 BC at the same time as another 18 blocks nearby, is thought to have been broken around 4000 BC. Measuring 20.60 meters and with a weight of 330 tons, the stone is from a rocky outcrop located several kilometers away from Locmariaquer. The impressive dimensions of this menhir still divide specialists about the techniques used for transport and erection, but the fact that this was achieved during the Neolithic era remains remarkable. It is not known what caused the menhir to topple and break into the four pieces that are now seen.
I don't think it's being visualized here. I'm not seeing it. Not everything is in here, but that's where it says it's at there, as I'm understanding. That just looks like a road. Crossroad. And down further. Should have stopped sooner. Maybe, that's something, maybe that's it down there. There looks like four things. That could be it. 4 pieces of stone. All right, coming up. The Karnak stones. So we just keep flying this heading.
The Carnac stones are an exceptionally dense collection of megalithic sites in Brittany in northwestern France, consisting of stone alignments, dolmens, tumuli and single menhirs. More than 3,000 prehistoric standing stones were hewn from local granite and erected by the pre-Celtic people of Brittany, and form the largest such collection in the world. Most of the stones are within the Breton village of Carnac, but some to the east are within La Trinité-sur-Mer. The stones were erected at some stage during the Neolithic period, probably around 3300 BCE, but some may date to as early as 4500 BCE. Although the stones date from 4500 BCE, modern myths were formed which resulted from 1st century AD Roman and later Christian occupations. A Christian myth associated with the stones held that they were pagan soldiers in pursuit of Pope Cornelius when he turned them to stone. Brittany has its own local versions of the Arthurian cycle. Local tradition claims that the reason they stand in such perfectly straight lines is that they are a Roman legion turned to stone by Merlin. In recent centuries, many of the sites have been neglected, with reports of dolmens being used as sheep shelters, chicken sheds or even ovens. Even more commonly, stones have been removed to make way for roads, or as building materials. According to Neil Oliver's BBC documentary A History of Ancient Britain, the alignments would have been built by hunter-gatherer people. That would place them in a different setting from Stonehenge megalith, which are believed to be the work of ancient Aegean farmers. The question of which people Carnac stones are to be attributed to is still debated.
I'm guessing this is what they're talking about. Again, it's not visualized, but you can see the shadow of these lines. Merlin, huh? Merlin turned the Roman soldiers stone. That's pretty interesting. There's some there. Aha, aha. Wow. Yeah, that is a trip. They are all lined up. I'd want to shoot anybody who messes with them. Using them as sheds and ovens. I don't know what they look like up close, though. These are all under the trees still. But they're still there. I mean, you can still see them. What's going on with my zoom out? Doesn't want to zoom out. Always something. Come on, zoom out. It'll zoom in. There it goes. But it only once it's zoomed in that far, it doesn't want to zoom back out. Kind of. How strange. Yeah. All right, well, let's get a move on. I mean, it's great. I'd love to sit and ponder that stuff all day. But we've got to get a move on. Come on, simulator. Even that doesn't want to work now. There we go. Whoa. God, I'm still in control. And we're doing 4 times the speed to get there. Okay, slow down. Let's get back into the cockpit. Turn back on the autopilot. Put it back to nav. All right, getting back on track. Maybe. Let's try it. Try to keep us this low. Okay, now that that's taken care of, we haven't moved very far. We're right there. Route to Purgatory. Well, that doesn't sound good. And now we're going to be heading back towards Renne, up here. So coming up next, we have Tredion Castle. All right, this is probably where in the let's see. Probably in the edit version, this will be a cruise, and I'll find some cool music to play for this next jaunt to the castle. 26 minutes after the hour. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Picturesque. Sometimes this dang thing, man, not want to put me where I need to be.
Tredion Castle is located in Tredion in the French department of Morbihan. Built in 1350, Tredion Manor belonged to the Dukes of Brittany. The vast forests that surround it made it a favorite meeting place for hunters. There is a legend of the treasure of Tredion, said to be buried at the foot of an oak tree. The gardens, designed around the year 1820, with their irregular central path, artificial river, cascade, pond, lake and kitchen garden and orchard are listed in the pre-inventory of remarkable gardens.
Okay, now we've missed it. We're just a little off course. It's right over here. Let me turn the autopilot off. All right, it says it is just right below us there now. So this is a castle complex. Some buildings, again, if they're not visualized in here, Microsoft will just try to put a large building, computer-generated block there. This seems more like palatial areas. I mean, look at what we see down there, like gardens, and you know that really stands out. That patch, this whole area right here, as royal grounds. You know, they're royal waterways and stuff like that. But yeah, that kind of seems like something important was there. So let's just sake of the edit version, let me go ahead and play that again here.
Tredion Castle is located in Tredion in the French department of Morbihan. Built in 1350, Tredion Manor belonged to the Dukes of Brittany. The vast forests that surround it made it a favorite meeting place for hunters. There is a legend of the treasure of Tredion, said to be buried at the foot of an oak tree. The gardens, designed around the year 1820, with their irregular central path, artificial river, cascade, pond, lake and kitchen garden and orchard are listed in the pre-inventory of remarkable gardens.
There's a little artificial waterway then. I wonder if that building down there, they've got that plot over it, that's the manor. Lovely forests. Yep. Okay, so got a pilot back on. Okay, and the next location we're going to is probably this one.
Pleguer is a commune in the Morbihan department in Brittany in northwestern France. It is located at the edge of the famous Brocéliande forest, which is the setting of the Round Table novels in Brittany. It is 43 kilometers southwest from Renne, the regional capital. Camp Coetquidden is located in Gers and comprises 3 military educational facilities. École Spéciale Militaire de Saint-Cyr, France's foremost military academy dedicated to the training of army officers through direct recruitment. École Militaire Interarmes, for non-commissioned officers, and École Militaire du Corps Technique et Administratif. Paimpont Forest is a temperate forest located around the village of Paimpont in the department of Ille-et-Vilaine in Brittany, France. Covering an area of 9,000 hectares, it includes the castles Chateau de Comper and Chateau de Tressesson as well as the National Historical Site the Forges of Paimpont, and is part of a larger forest area that covers the neighboring departments of Morbihan and Côte d'Armor. It has been associated with the forest of Brocéliande and many locations from the Arthurian legend, including Valsan's Retour, the Tomb of Merlin, and the Fountain of Berenton.
Wow. Tomb of Merlin.
Boutavent Castle is in Effendic, Department of Ille-et-Vilaine, Brittany, France. The ruins of the castle, built in the Middle Ages, are on a natural rocky spur at the place named Boutavent. The land, surrounded by the forest of Paimpont and the pond of Boutavent, stretches over more than 2 hectares. It has been confirmed that during the 13th and 14th century, the castle belonged to the lords of Montfort. It was also part of the goods of the family of Montfort with the Comper, Montfort, Montauban and Gael castles. The history of the site goes in pair with legends. It is said that during the 7th century, the castle was the residence of Judicael, king of Dumnonii, and that it had been the place where the king and Saint Eloi met. This last was sent to bring peace in a fight for borders between Bretons and French. The castle is structured into 2 classical elements, a courtyard and a barnyard, separated by a deep gap. 4 buildings which could be guesthouses are on both sides of the barnyard. The fortification and elements of the barnyard can still be seen. During the 16th century, the castle was in ruin. The circumstances of the destruction of the fortified site of Boutavent remain mysterious. Maybe it has been dismantled during the War of Succession or in 1373, during the campaign of Bertrand du Guesclin in Brittany, but nothing proves that the castle hasn't been inhabited then. Many local authors of the 19th century wrote about Boutavent, in particular writers like Poignand, Vigeland or Orive. Even though these stories constitute rare stories about the site, it is impossible to retrace the entire history of the castle, as there are only a few sources. The castle has not been searched yet, but many campaigns of consolidation of the relics took place since 2006. During these campaigns, archaeological material has been found. The site, controlled by Montfort community, is open to the public since 2005. Maintaining works, strengthening the relics and promoting Boutavent, all 3 are done in collaboration with the Eco-Museum of the District of Montfort, the Regional Archaeology Service and the Eureka Emploi Services Welfare to Work program.
Okay, there's the aircraft. Well, it's right back here.
Boutavent Castle is in Effendic, Department of Ille-et-Vilaine, Brittany, France. The ruins of the castle, built in the Middle Ages, are on a natural rocky spur at the place named Boutavent. The land, surrounded by the forest of Paimpont and the pond of Boutavent, stretches over more than 2 hectares. It has been confirmed that during the 13th and 14th century, the castle belonged to the lords of Montfort. It was also part of the goods of the family of Montfort with the Comper, Montfort, Montauban and Gael castles. The history of the site goes in pair with legends. It is said that during the 7th century, the castle was the residence of Judicael, king of Dumnonii, and that it had been the place where the king and Saint Eloi met. This last was sent to bring peace in a fight for borders between Bretons and French. The castle is structured into 2 classical elements, a courtyard and a barnyard, separated by a deep gap. 4 buildings which could be guesthouses are on both sides of the barnyard. The fortification and elements of the barnyard can still be seen. During the 16th century, the castle was in ruin. The circumstances of the destruction of the fortified site of Boutavent remain mysterious. Maybe it has been dismantled during the War of Succession or in 1373, during the campaign of Bertrand du Guesclin in Brittany, but nothing proves that the castle hasn't been inhabited then. Many local authors of the 19th century wrote about Boutavent, in particular writers like Poignand, Vigeland or Orive. Even though these stories constitute rare stories about the site, it is impossible to retrace the entire history of the castle, as there are only a few sources. The castle has not been searched yet, but many campaigns of consolidation of the relics took place since 2006. During these campaigns, archaeological material has been found. The site, controlled by Montfort community, is open to the public since 2005. Maintaining works, strengthening the relics and promoting Boutavent, all three are done in collaboration with the Eco-Museum of the District of Montfort, the Regional Archaeology Service and the Eureka Emploi Services Welfare to Work program.
Alright, now we're heading to Renne. I think that's the way they pronounce it, I don't know. Over on our port side,
Montfort-sur-Meaux is a commune in the department of Ille-et-Vilaine in Brittany in the northwest of France. It is noted as the birthplace of the Roman Catholic Saint Louis de Montfort, who is considered to be the pioneer of the field of Mariology. The saint's birthplace is at 15, Rue de la Saulnerie. It is now jointly owned by the three Montfortian congregations he formed, the Community of the Holy Spirit, the Daughters of Wisdom and the Brothers of Saint Gabriel. It is the site of frequent Montfortian pilgrimages to Montfort-sur-Meaux. Human beings have made their imprint on the district of Montfort-en-Brosseillonde since prehistory. Ancient manners can be seen in the forest of Montfort, but it is at the end of the 11th century when the first castle is built. From 1376 to 1389, the fortress, surrounded by 4 towers, was rebuilt by Raoul VIII. It was destroyed in 1627. The town is strengthened by fortifications. The town had 3 doors, Saint-Jean door, Coulon door and Saint-Nicolas door. The population of the town supported the changes brought by the French Revolution, after the Reign of Terror. The major revolutionary event is the one celebrating the execution of Louis XVI, accompanied by a hatred oath to the royalty and to the anarchy. It is celebrated since 1795.
alright, here we are coming up on this major city here.
Rennes is a city in the east of Brittany in northwestern France at the confluence of the Ille and the Vilaine. Rennes is the capital of the region of Brittany, as well as the Ille-et-Vilaine department. In 2017, the urban area had a population of 357,327 inhabitants, and the larger metropolitan area had 739,974 inhabitants. Rennes' history goes back more than 2,000 years, at a time when it was a small Gallic village named Condate. Together with Vannes and Nantes, it was one of the major cities of the ancient Duchy of Brittany. From the early 16th century until the French Revolution, Rennes was a parliamentary, administrative and garrison city of the historic province of Brittany of the Kingdom of France, as evidenced by its 17th century Parliament's Palace. Rennes played an important role in the stamped paper revolt in 1675. After the destructive fire of 1720, the medieval wooden centre of the city was partially rebuilt in stone. Remaining mostly rural until the Second World War, Rennes really developed in the 20th century. Since the 1950s, Rennes has grown in importance through rural flight and its modern industrial development, partly automotive. The city developed extensive building plans to accommodate upwards of 200,000 inhabitants. During the 1980s, Rennes became one of the main centers in telecommunication and high-technology industry. It is now a significant digital innovation center in France. In 2002, Rennes became the smallest city in the world to have a metro line. Labeled a city of art and history, it has preserved an important medieval and classical heritage within its historic center, with over 90 buildings protected as historic monuments. With more than 66,000 students in 2016, It is also the 8th largest university campus of France. In 2018, L'Express named Rennes as the most livable city in France.
I am sorry I didn't pause on it and scan the city more. We've really got to get going. It was very difficult finding any jobs in Neofly today that really went this way. And finagle. Anyway, I'd probably bit off more than I could chew distance-wise, so having to speed up a little bit. Okay. We're getting there, though. We're almost there. The next town that we're going to be turning at is Denon, I have no idea what this is all about. We're learning. So prior to that, Lihon. Saint Thual.
Dinan is a walled Breton town and a commune in the Côte d'Armor department in northwestern France. On the 1st of January 2018, the former commune of Laine was merged into Dinan. Inhabitants of Dinan are called Dinanais and Dinanaises. Its geographical setting is exceptional. Instead of nestling on the valley floor like Morlaix, most urban development has been on the hillside, overlooking the river Rance. The area alongside the river Rance is known as the Port of Dinan and is connected to the town by the steep streets Rue Jertzel and its continuation outside the walls the Rue de Petit Fort. This river has moderate turbidity and its brownish water is somewhat low in velocity due to the slight gradient of the watercourse. pH levels have been measured at 8.13 within the city of Dinan and electrical conductivity of the waters have tested at 33 microsiemens per centimeter. In the center of Dinan, the Rance summer flows are typically in the range of 500 cubic feet per second. For many years, the bridge over the river Rance at Dinan was the most northerly crossing point on the river, but the tidal power station at the mouth of the estuary, constructed in the 1960s downstream from Dinan, incorporates a 750-meter-long tidal barrage which doubles as a crossing point nearer to the sea. The medieval town on the hilltop has many fine old buildings, some of which date from the 13th century. The town retains a large section of the city walls, part of which can be walked round. Major historical attractions include the Jacobins Theatre dating from 1224, the flamboyant Gothic St. Malo's Church, the Romanesque St. Saviour's Basilica, Duchess Anne's Tower and the Chateau de Dinan. A major highlight in the calendar is Dinan's Fête des Remparts. The town is transformed with decoration and many locals dress up in medieval garb for this two-day festival. The festival takes place over the third weekend in July every even-numbered year.
Fascinating. All right, next. Miniac Morvan. Now this one is another giant rock sticking out of the ground. Oh, my drone speed is horrible.
The Menhir de Champ Dolent is a menhir, or upright standing stone, located in a field outside the town of Dol de Bretagne. It is the largest standing stone in Brittany and is over 9 meters high. The menhir is the tallest of Brittany's standing stones. Its height above ground is between 9.3 and 9.5 meters. It is made of pinkish granite, quarried about 2.5 miles away, and has an estimated weight of around 100 tons. It is oval in shape with a smooth surface. A cross was once placed on top to Christianize it. It is not precisely dated, but recent scholarship suggests that Brittany's menhirs were erected circa 5000 to 4000 BC. It has been registered as a monument historique by the French Ministry of Culture since 1889. According to legend, the menhir fell from the skies to separate two feuding brothers who were on the point of killing each other. This legend is said to account for the name Champ Dolent, which means field of sorrow. In reality, the word dolent is more likely to derive from Breton dolen. Another legend states that the menhir is slowly sinking into the ground, and the world will end when it disappears altogether. According to tradition, in the year 560 Clothar I, king of the Franks, is said to have met his rebel son, Crum, here.
Pardon.
The Menhir de Champ Dolent is a menhir, or upright standing stone, located in a field outside the town of Dol de Bretagne. It is the largest standing stone in Brittany and is over 9 meters high. The menhir is the tallest of Brittany's standing stones. Its height above ground is between 9.3 and 9.5 meters. It is made of pinkish granite, quarried about 2.5 miles away, and has an estimated weight of around 100 tons. It is oval in shape with a smooth surface. A cross was once placed on top to Christianize it. It is not precisely dated, but recent scholarship suggests that Brittany's menhirs were erected circa 5000 to 4000 BC. It has been registered as a monument historique by the French Ministry of Culture since 1889. According to legend, the menhir fell from the skies to separate two feuding brothers who were on the point of killing each other. This legend is said to account for the name Champ Dolent, which means field of sorrow. In reality, the word dolent is more likely to derive from Breton dolen. Another legend states that the menhir is slowly sinking into the ground, and the world will end when it disappears altogether. According to tradition, in the year 560 Clothar I, king of the Franks, is said to have met his rebel son, Crum, here.
I'm betting that's it right there. Look at the shadow. Look at the size of the stone, but look at the shadow. So I'm guessing that's the spot. And the only thing that stands out. All right, turning around. Mont St. Michel should be next. No? Well, in the next two. There it is. I see it now, right on the distance. Right, our wheel's covering it up. So we are right here. You see it out there under our wheel. Let me zoom in here because we've got a couple of things. Directly up ahead, right here on the edge.
The Quinone is a river running from the département of Mayenne in northwestern France, forming an estuary at Mont Saint-Michel. It is 97.8 kilometers long, and its drainage basin is 1,124 square kilometers. Its final stretch forms the border between the historical duchies of Normandy and Brittany. Its historically irregular course, alternating between two beds on the north and south of the Mont Saint-Michel but eventually definitely settling to the south bed, inspired the saying the Quinone in its madness placed the Mont in Normandy, as the Mont is just to the Normand side of the river's current mouth. However, the administrative boundary separating the two regions does not depend on the course of the river, and is about 6 kilometers west of the Montana. The Quinone, the sea and the Saloon form part of the complex water system of the Bay of Mont Saint-Michel. On one side, the tide brings large quantities of sediment which cause large sandbars within the river. On the other, the three watercourses drive the sediment back out to sea. In the 20th century, the Quinone was turned into a canal, to reduce the erosion of its banks. In 1969, a dam was built. These modifications, and the causeway linking Mont Saint-Michel to the mainland, have caused the buildup of mudflats. To prevent the Mont becoming too connected to the mainland, plans are in place to replace the causeway with a bridge, and to modify the dam so that the sediment can once again be driven out to sea. During spring tides, a tidal bore, a wave caused by the incoming tide, can be seen working its way up the river.
Okay. Yeah. I wanted to pause or I've got it turning towards the other coast there. But the other how to describe it? Outlet?
Le Mont Saint-Michel is a tidal island and mainland commune in Normandy, France. The island lies approximately 1 kilometre off the country's northwestern coast, at the mouth of the Quinone River near Avranches, and is 7 hectares in area. The mainland part of the commune is 393 hectares in area, so that the total surface of the commune is 400 hectares. As of 2017, the island has a population of 30. The commune's position, on an island just a few hundred meters from land, made it accessible at low tide to the many pilgrims to its abbey, but defensible as an incoming tide stranded, drove off, or drowned would-be assailants. The island remained unconquered during the 100 Years' War. A small garrison fended off a full attack by the English in 1433. Louis XI recognized the reversed benefits of its natural defense and turned it into a prison. The abbey was used regularly as a prison during the Ancien regime. Mont Saint-Michel and its bay are on the UNESCO list of World Heritage Sites. It is visited by more than 3 million people each year. Over 60 buildings within the commune are protected in France as monuments historiques.
Really, I thought they would have a lot more to say on this. You know, how long did this take to build? Who built it? Look at this crazy thing. Oops. It's almost like, right out of Tolkien. Like a Minas Tirith kind of thing. You got the outer city, the lower city, all the walls, the inner walls going up. Nice place to have dinner in the back. Wow. Quite the thing, man. Unbelievable. So yeah, I think I wanted to come back and catch these points over here. I think these are mostly lighthouses, but what do we have here? Grand Aquarium, we won't be able to see that. Solar Tower. Cathedral, Roman Catholic Cathedral. And a fort. So we're shooting for right here. And we should be there in about 1 minute. If that. Yeah. Pause it right there. Okay. So St. Malo directly ahead.
Saint Malo Cathedral is a Roman Catholic cathedral located in Saint Malo, Brittany, France. The church was founded in dedication to Saint Vincent of Saragossa and is a national monument of France. It was built in a mix of Roman and Gothic styles during the episcopacy of Jean de Chatillon on the site of an ancient church founded in the 7th century. The cathedral suffered damage during World War II when the steeple toppled onto the Sacred Heart Chapel. An organ which had been built in 1893 by Louis de Billiers was destroyed. On the 21st of May 1972, after 28 years of work, a ceremony was held to celebrate the completion of the restoration. It is a stop on the Trou-Braise, a Catholic pilgrimage that links the towns of the 7 founding saints of Brittany. Historical records of the rocky outcrop on which Saint Malo stands show that a hermit called Aaron Dalith founded a hermitage there towards the middle of the 6th century. A Welsh monk called Maclo or Maclaw or Malo arrived to the rock and joined Aaron. Malo devoted himself to preaching and in due course became Bishop of Alyth. He was succeeded by Saint Gervil, who had a church built in honor of his predecessor. This church, burnt by Charlemagne's lieutenants in 811, was rebuilt in 816 by Bishop Hilaire and was given the name of the deacon Saint Vincent de Spagna, who had been martyred in 304 by Diocletian. In the middle of the 9th century, the Breton king Nomino nominated Alyth as the location of the episcopacy and called it Pagus Alythensis.
Yeah, all right, we found it here. All right, to the north of this, right on that tip there.
Fort National is a fort on a tidal island a few hundred meters off the walled city of Saint Malo. The great military architect Vauban had it built in 1689 to protect Saint Malo's port. The fort was originally called Fort Royal. In 1789 the fort's name became Fort Dillard or Républicain, then Fort Impérial and, after 1870, Fort National. The fort stands on Lillette Rock. This was originally the site of a beacon that was lit at night to act as a lighthouse. It was also a place of public executions for the Signori of St. Malo, which burnt criminals there. Later a gallows occupied the site. A model in Saint Malo's History Museum suggests that a battery may have occupied the site before the erection of the Vauban fort.
And I forgot, directly to the south. Probably going to miss it. I don't know if the plane's going to... I think we're going to miss
Fort National is a fort on the tidal island a few hundred meters. Solidor Tower is a strengthened keep with 3 linked towers, located in the estuary of the River Rance in Brittany. It was built between 1369 and 1382 by John V, Duke of Brittany, to control access to the Rance at a time when the city of Saint-Malo did not recognize his authority. Over the centuries the tower lost its military interest and became a jail. It is now a museum celebrating Breton sailors exploring Cape Horn. The Solidor Tower is located in the former city of Saint-Servan, which merged with Saint-Malo in 1967.
Now it may be down here. No, it says the bridge is back there. So... maybe that's it. Again, the computer sometimes, puts buildings in, it doesn't have things perfectly mapped out. That could be the tower there. All right, well, that finally concludes all of this. Now we're on our way to our destination. So when you get back to the cockpit, man, my controls are everywhere today. Okay. All right, directly ahead of us. Well, right below us, there's a little tiny island coming up here. A little bunch of little tiny islands.
Chauzy is a group of small islands, islets and rocks off the coast of Normandy, in the English Channel. It lies 17 kilometers from Granville and forms a quartier of the Granville commune in the Manche département. Chauzy forms part of the Channel Islands from a geographical point of view, but, because it is under French jurisdiction, it is almost never mentioned in the context of the other Channel Islands. There are no scheduled transport links between Chauzy and the other Channel Islands, although between 2 and 4 daily shuttles link Chauzy to mainland France through Granville, depending on the season. The A ending of the name Chauzy may be assumed to be associated with the Norse A, as seen not only in Jersey, Guernsey, Alderney, but also islands farther away like Anglesey, Orkney, and Hamay.
That is really pretty. Right here off our right wheel.
The Granville raid occurred on the night of the 8th of March 1945, the 9th of March 1945, when a German raiding force from the Channel Islands landed in France and brought back supplies and former prisoners of war to their base. During the Second World War, Granville, Manche, France was the site of a prisoner of war camp. In December 1944, 4 German paratroopers and a naval cadet escaped from the camp and stole a U.S. Navy LCVP, in which they made their way to the German-occupied Channel Islands. There they relayed substantial intelligence on the Allies' disposition in the Granville area, including the fact that several ships were in the harbor discharging coal, which was in short supply in the Channel Islands, and the location of U.S. troops. The former POWs were killed on the 25th of December, while returning to Germany in a transport plane that was shot down by an Allied night fighter. Also killed in the transport was Korvettenkapitan Fritz Breithaupt, a recipient of the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross with oak leaves and commander of Miniac Flottille 24. The new garrison commander of the Channel Islands, Vice-Admiral Friedrich Hufmeier, a former captain of the German battleship Scharnhorst, used the intelligence to plan a raid against the Allies to restore morale to his garrison and obtain needed supplies. On the night of 6–7 February 1945, a first attempt was aborted, due to a combination of bad weather and the detection of an escorting Schnellboot by U.S. Navy submarine chaser PC-552. The Chateau de Pirou is a castle in the commune of Pirou, in the département of Mont Normandy, France. The castle was initially built of wood, then of stone in the 12th century and belonged to the lords of Pirou. It was constructed near the shore of the English Channel, and used to watch upon the west coast of the Cotentin, to protect the town of Coutances and a strategic shallow water harbour. As the coastline receded, the castle lost its strategic significance, and thus was not militarily upgraded, as well as being spared the systematic destruction of fortifications as seats of power and resistance to central governance during the French Revolution and its aftermath. The castle was transformed into Lord Adnan's penthouse during the 18th century, and then began to deteriorate. In 1968 the castle was listed in the Inventaire supplémentaire des Monuments Historiques by the French Ministry of Culture. Restoration was begun on the initiative of the Abbot Marcel Lelegard 1925–1994. The castle now lies in the middle of an artificial pond. The drawbridge has been replaced by a stone bridge. The curtain walls from the 12th century enclose two residential houses from two different periods, 16th and 18th centuries. A barn on the premises houses a locally made tapestry, in the style of the Bayeux Tapestry, depicting historical events during a very lively period, from the Viking landings in the Cotentin to Norman conquest of southern Italy. The castle can be visited as a tourist attraction.
Far out? The nuclear power plant is up ahead. I don't see a nuclear power plant. Maybe that was it there.
The Flamanville nuclear power plant is located at Flamanville, Manche, France on the Cotentin Peninsula. The power plant houses two pressurized water reactors that produce 1.3 GOR each and came into service in 1986 and 1987, respectively. It produced 18.9 TWh in 2005, which amounted to 4% of the electricity production in France. In 2006 this figure was about 3.3%. A third reactor at the site, an EPR unit, began construction in 2007 with its commercial introduction scheduled for 2012. As of 2020 the project is more than 5 times over budget and years behind schedule. Various safety problems have been raised, including weakness in the steel used in the reactor. In July 2019, further delays were announced, pushing back the commercial date to the end 2022.
All right. That should be it. We should be another nuclear power plant, I think, out here. No, the battle. There was a battle here. Okay.
The Battle of Joburg was a minor naval engagement between British and French frigate squadrons during the last weeks of the War of the Sixth Coalition in the 22nd and penultimate year of the French Revolutionary and Napoleonic Wars. In October 1813, the French Navy, unable to challenge the Royal Navy's dominance at sea, sent 2 small squadrons of frigates to harass British trade in the Atlantic Ocean. One was brought to battle in January 1814 and defeated near the Canary Islands, but the second, from Nantes and consisting of the frigates Etoile and, fought an inconclusive engagement against British frigate HMS Severn on the 4th of January in the mid-Atlantic, and a furious battle against HMS Astrea and on the 23rd of January near Mayo in the Cape Verde Islands. Attempting to return to St. Malo in March, with the Allied armies at the gates of Paris and the war coming to a close, the French squadron was intercepted near the Ile de Bats by a much stronger British squadron, including the ship of the line HMS Hannibal, frigate, and brig. Sultan, badly damaged in the engagement with Creole, was soon chased down by Hannibal and surrendered without a fight, but Etoile, faced with only the Hebrus, turned away in an attempt to escape. Early in the morning of the 27th of March, Hebrus succeeded in reaching its quarry off Joburg in Normandy, and the frigates fought a fierce engagement close inshore. After more than 2 hours, Etoile's colours were struck and she surrendered. Casualties were heavy on both ships, but both prizes were successfully returned to Britain and commissioned into the Royal Navy. This was the final naval engagement of the War of the Sixth Coalition, which came to an end with Emperor Napoleon's abdication on the 11th of April.
All right. This is our destination, and
Alderney is the northernmost of the inhabited Channel Islands. It is part of the bailiwick of Guernsey, a British Crown dependency. It is 3 miles long and 1.5 miles wide. The area is 3 square miles, making it the 3rd largest island of the Channel Islands, and the 2nd largest in the bailiwick. It is around 10 miles from the west of La Hague on the Cotentin Peninsula, Normandy, in France, 20 miles from the northeast of Guernsey, and 60 miles from the south coast of Great Britain. It is the closest of the Channel Islands to France and to the United Kingdom. It is separated from Cap de la Hague by the dangerous Alderney Race. As of 2018, the island had a population of 2,039. Natives are traditionally nicknamed Vacs after the cows, or else Lapon after the many rabbits seen in the island. Formally, they are known as Redunians, from the Latin reduna. The only parish of Alderney is the parish of St. Anne, which covers the whole island. The main town, St. Anne, historically known as La Ville, is often referred to as St. Anne's by visitors and incomers, but rarely by locals. The town's high street, which formerly had a small handful of shops, is now almost entirely residential, forming a T-junction with Victoria Street at its highest point. The town area features an imposing church and an unevenly cobbled main street, Victoria Street. There is one school, a post office, and hotels, as well as restaurants, banks and shops. Other settlements include Bray, Krabi, Longis, Manez, La Banque, and Newtown.
all right.
Well, you've landed. We'll send maintenance to check the gear after you.
Oh no. Should have expected that one.
Transporter from dispatch. Clear the runway and taxi to parking.
Yeah, let's see how much damage we did. I was being a little too cavalier on that one. Where is Neoplat?
Okay, pilot. The guests are leaving the aircraft now.
Oh, not much. Little damage to the engine. There was already repair damages, repair needed, so we didn't cause much damage at all. But it's still going to cost us a grip. $30,000. Well, there was, again, another one that I had to fix too, so.
Transporter from dispatch. Disembarkation completed. Thank you. See you soon for another mission.
All right. Might as well top up the gas while we're here for tomorrow.
Everything is on board.
All right, and that's where we end today here at Alderney. Let's go ahead and pop out and take a look around. Damn camera today, it's giving me fits. Still giving me fits. Everything's misbehaving today. I do what I want. Very pretty. Been around since history began and still looks like this. No Walmarts, no giant, you know. Who knows? Crazy. Crazy to me. All right. Get over here and switch this to the right screen. Okay. Yep. So we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you again for tuning in today for the Flight Adventures of Kinneas, the Sky Dude, and I had a good time. We learned a lot. It was cool seeing Mont St. Michel. I'm sorry I rushed things a little bit today, but I'm gonna have to start rushing them a little bit. I have to keep them smaller. Now that I'm editing them, oh boy, they get long. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll pick it up here and. Just quickly looking out at the map. Unless we just want to cut straight across. And we keep following it over here to this cut point here. And we make our way into the UK at Canterbury. Oh, that sounds kind of nice. So that's probably going to be the route tomorrow from here to Canterbury. So thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow. And